The 688, written, produced, and directed by Tyler Perry. Regardless of how you feel about him and his movies, this one was definitely a classic. The story of the all-female African American unit, the 688, in World War II. Now, obviously, this film has a lot of star power behind it. Firstly, Kerry Washington from the Scandal television series as real-life Major, then Lieutenant Colonel Charity Adams, commander of the 688. Ebony Obsidian as Lena Dedrick Bell, one of the real-life members of the 688, and is alive to this very day to tell this story. Manua Jackson as Captain Abel Noel Campbell, the executive officer and second-in-command of the 688 unit. Also starring Law & Order legend Sam Waterston as President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Oprah Winfrey as Mary E. LaCour Bernier, and Academy Award-winning actress Susan Sarandon as Eleanor Roosevelt. The film tells an amazing story about how during World War II, lines of communication between soldiers in the front lines of World War II and their families were completely cut off. Morale was incredibly low, and troopers and their families were disheartened. In comes the 688. African American female troops sent to the front lines to sift through mail and keep the line of communications open between soldiers and their families. And they succeeded against all the odds. Against racism, bigotry, against everyone in powerful positions, not to mention in general officers wanting them to fail, they succeeded in the most amazing ways possible. To give you an idea as to how impossible the task seemed, there was a 2-year backlog of letters addressed to home. The 688 were given only 6 months. 6 months to clear through it. Letters that were been neglected, packages that were halfway destroyed. They were given only 6 months to deliver them. And guess what they did? They delivered them in under 90 days. They became unsung legends of World War II, but their story was completely untold until not too recently. Not because they made this movie, but because in 2009, the battalion was honored at the Women in Service for America Memorial at Arlington National Cemetery. That event was attended by 3 former unit members of the 688, alongside former President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama. And in 2022, President Biden signed a bipartisan bill to award the battalion the Congressional Gold Medal. In the greatest honor that could be bestowed of any Army soldier, Fort Lee, Virginia, obviously named after General Robert E. Lee, was renamed Fort Gregg Adams after Lieutenant General Arthur James Gregg, one of the first African American generals of the United States Army Quartermaster Corps, and obviously for Lieutenant Colonel Charity Adams, the former commander of the 688. I like this movie because Tyler Perry, he makes a lot of good movies in his career, some good, some bad, but this is probably the first one that he's ever gone outside his comfort zone of making a war movie. But this was a story that I believe needed to be told. Sure, there are congressional gold medals, renaming of bases, but a lot of people don't know about this particular story. I'm glad that Kerry Washington and other actors and Tyler Perry and everyone else working behind the scenes had the courage to make this into a movie of a story of amazing women facing down bigotry, becoming legends.